Friends of Islam, this time the Islamic faith is back before you to share Islamic information. I hope it inspires your activities today. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and activate the bell button notifications so you don't miss the latest news from the Islamic Faith channel. Thailand is a kingdom in Southeast Asia with a population of approximately 65 million. It was only known as Thailand in 1939, having been known as Siam for hundreds of years prior. Historically, Thailand served as a transit point for Islamic missionaries to the archipelago, arriving both from the Middle East and via India. Southern Thailand has been a crucial region in the history of Islam in the land of the white elephant. According to the latest statistics, Muslims make up 4.6% of Thailand's population, or approximately 4 million, of a total population of 65 million. Islam is the second most populated religion in Thailand after Buddhism. Southern Thailand comprises a number of regions within Thailand directly bordering peninsular Malaysia. The majority of the population in this region is Malay Muslim. Muslims in southern Thailand are spread across several provinces, including Pattani, 80%, Yala, 68.9%, and Satun, 67.8%. Initially, southern Thailand remained under the rule of the Pattani Raya Kingdom until the 12th century. Islam is thought to have entered Thailand around the 10th to 11th centuries, brought by Arab and Indian traders. Islam then developed rapidly in the Pattani region, especially since the founding of the Islamic Kingdom of Pattani Darussalam in the 14th century. Pattani itself is a Malay sultanate, which was the successor of the ancient Hindu-Buddhist kingdom called Lankasuka. For centuries, Pattani has been an important trading center and had a major influence on the history of the region. In southern Thailand, Islamic religious education is an important part of the curriculum. The Thai Ministry of Education even includes the Malay language curriculum as one of the subjects in Islamic education. With this step, Thailand became the first country to use the Malay language as a basis for dignifying this language in the education system in the White Elephant country. From an educational aspect, people in this area usually entrust their children to madrasas or Islamic boarding schools. Spiritual and religious education is highly emphasized in schools, so many children learn the Quran from an early age. Islamic boarding schools at pesantren play a crucial role, not only in educating the younger generation religiously, but also in maintaining the continuity of Malay culture and language sovereignty. Although the majority of Muslims are in southern Thailand, this does not mean that other parts of Thailand are devoid of them. Take Bangkok, the capital of Thailand, for example. In Bangkok, we can easily find mosques. Although the majority of Muslims in Bangkok are immigrants from southern Thailand, physically easily identifiable due to their Malay heritage, there are also quite a few Muslims of Thai descent, usually white skin. This demonstrates the successful spread of Islamic preaching in Bangkok. If we visit mosques in Thailand, we will notice many similarities between the lives of Muslims in Thailand and Indonesia. The majority of Muslims in Thailand are Sunni Muslims of the Shafi'i school of thought. In general, they are very similar to the Nadliyin, Islamic scholars, in Indonesia. We can easily find congregational dhikr, recitation of Islamic prayers, nasheed, recitation of Islamic nasheeds, and various types of shalawat, recitation of prayers. Each mosque usually has a revered kiai, Islamic teacher. However, thank God, many young people, mostly university students, diligently pursue knowledge based on this noble method of the early generations. They diligently conduct scholarly studies in mosques, even though they sometimes conflict with the mosque administrators themselves. Despite limited access to literature, because not all speak Arabic, they are passionate about upholding the Quran and Sunnah, guided by the understanding of the pious predecessors. They openly display their Islam. They grow beards, refrain from wearing Islamic clothing, and even on campus, we sometimes encounter our sisters wearing the niqab. And by God's will, they are also one of the reasons this author found guidance to adhere to this noble method. Although Thailand is a Buddhist country, the monarchy is quite supportive of the Islamic life of its citizens. Responsibility for Islamic affairs in Thailand is held by a mufti, Sheikh al-Islam, with the title of Sheikh al-Islam, Chularajmantri. This mufti is under the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Ministry of Education and is accountable to the king. The mufti is responsible for regulating policies related to Muslim life, such as determining the beginning and end of the Islamic months. The mufti oversees the Islamic Provincial Council, which consists of 26 members from each province. This council oversees approximately 3,494 mosques in Thailand. The center of these activities is located in Bangkok at the Islamic Center in the Ramkhamhaeng area. Furthermore, every university usually has a Muslim student club. This group usually has a dedicated space that can also be used for prayer. In general, Thai society is also very tolerant of Muslims. They are quite concerned about the food we eat, and they are also very willing to grant permission to pray. However, because Thailand is a Buddhist country, they do not observe Muslim holidays, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. This sometimes presents an obstacle for students or employees who wish to perform congregational Eid prayers. However, each institution usually provides leniency for skipping during these times. Similarly, Ramadan in Thailand is a special time, especially for Muslims living in southern regions such as Pattani, Yala, Narathiwat, and Songkhla, where the majority of the population is Malay-speaking. During this holy month, the community atmosphere is noticeably more religious and united. During Ramadan, mosques in Thailand are filled with worshippers for Tarawih prayers. Many families prepare iftar meals together with local specialties, such as nasi kerabu, roti canai, bubur lambuk, and traditional sweets. In some areas, people also share food at mosques or with neighbors. In various cities, especially in southern Thailand, Ramadan markets have sprung up selling a variety of foods for breaking the fast. These markets are usually open from mid-afternoon until sunset. Ramadan markets are not only places to shop, but also centers of social interaction. Ramadan in Thailand is also filled with the spirit of sharing. Many families prepare food to share with neighbors or mosque congregants. Harmony is also felt as non-Muslims respect those who are fasting. In Thailand, especially during Ramadan, many people receive guidance and choose to convert to Islam. The spiritual atmosphere of Ramadan. Ramadan brings a very strong religious atmosphere. The recitation of the Quran, the Tarawih prayer, the togetherness of breaking the fast, and the serenity of the heart. Many non-Muslims experience this beauty, and their hearts are touched by it, leading to a deeper understanding of Islam. During the month of Ramadan, Muslims in Thailand emphasize their spirit of sharing, discipline, and patience. This attitude is what impresses non-Muslims and attracts them to the teachings of Islam. Some convert to Islam after marrying a Muslim partner, or because the harmonious Muslim majority environment makes them feel closer to Islam. When Eid al-Fitr arrives, the atmosphere becomes even more festive. Muslims wear brightly colored new clothes and children run happily to the mosque to pray with their families. Homes are decorated with simple yet meaningful decorations, while dining tables are filled with traditional dishes. Ketupat, rice cakes, rendang, rice rendang, nasi kerabu, rice cakes, and sweet Malay Thai pastries. After prayers, everyone forgives one another, healing old wounds with smiles and warm hugs. Children kiss their parents' hands and receive small gifts as tokens of affection. The day is a blessed occasion. Families, relatives, and neighbors visit one another, strengthening ties regardless of differences. In Thailand, Eid al-Fitr is not just a celebration, but also a manifestation of brotherhood, togetherness, and harmony in diversity. In Muslim villages across Pattani, Yala, Narathiwat, and Songkhla, the streets are alive. Children line up in their best clothes, their faces beaming with Eid joy. The markets, once bustling during Ramadan, are now transformed into a family atmosphere. Homes welcome guests, and traditional dishes are served to all who come. Not only fellow Muslims, but Buddhists and non-Muslims also offer greetings and even partake in Eid dishes. This harmony makes Eid al-Fitr in Thailand even more beautiful, as a celebration of faith and a cultural celebration that strengthens interfaith brotherhood. For children, Eid al-Fitr is a highly anticipated occasion. They go from house to house, greeting adults and offering their congratulations. In return, they are given small gifts or pocket money, adding to the joy of Eid. Even more beautifully, in some areas, non-Muslims also participate in this tradition. They come to visit, bring gifts, and share in the joy of Eid. This is a true manifestation of harmony in the land of the white elephant. Dear Muslim friends, many people think finding halal food in Thailand is difficult. However, in reality, halal food is readily available everywhere. For example, if we go to a campus cafeteria, there's usually a halal food stall in each cafeteria complex. If we go to the market, there's usually a seller of halal meat slaughtered according to Islamic law. Even if we want to eat at a halal food stall, we simply need to find the nearest mosque. Usually, there's a Muslim village near the mosque, along with halal food vendors. Even in malls, we can usually find halal restaurants. As we know, Thailand is a free country. The majority of its population enjoys nightlife, promiscuity, and drinking alcohol. Furthermore, we can find thumping music everywhere, and young women dress scantily. For someone with a weak faith, the onslaught of sin in the environment is certainly a significant challenge. Even in terms of belief, we can find the practice of shirk, polytheism, widespread. Almost in every house there is a small shrine where they place offerings. In fact, traders usually put these offerings in their shops. Their glorification of the kingdom has exceeded limits. Kings were considered to be descendants of gods, so they made them their worship. Monks also get very special treatment. They would give anything if they met monks, just to get their blessings. Of course, the practice of shirk, which is scattered throughout Thailand, continues to conflict with the hearts of Muslims. Because of this, Muslims in Thailand usually live in groups so they can look after each other. Near the mosque, there is usually a Muslim village. Apart from that, there are also several areas in Bangkok that have a fairly large percentage of the Muslim population. They try to create a good environment so they can live outside of the chaos of disobedience. Sometimes groups that live in several areas come together because of similar ethnicities. There is an area in Bangkok called Kampung Jawa. In this area, the residents are of Javanese descent who have lived there for generations. In the village, there is a Javanese mosque. Apart from that, there is also an Indonesian mosque. There are quite a lot of descendants who come from many countries and form their own communities. This is simply their effort to protect each other from cultural practices that differ greatly from Islamic values. They have often forgotten their respective languages. Like Winai Dalan mentioned earlier, he also couldn't speak Indonesian at all. There is also around the Andaman Sea, precisely off the coast of southern Thailand, stands a floating village called Kopi. This village is mostly inhabited by Muslims and is located hidden in a bay in southern Thailand. This village is inhabited by around 400 families with a population of 1,680 people, who are descendants of 3 families of Muslim sailors from Java. This floating village was founded around 200 years ago by 3 families of fishermen of Javanese descent. Initially, the 3 people were looking for a good location to catch fish, and they sailed along the Malaysian coast towards the Andaman Sea. Finally, they arrived in Thai waters and found an island in Ponga province. After finding the spot they were looking for, they told other fishermen by raising a flag on the hill so that others could join in catching fish. They found shelter near a large limestone rock and raised a flag on it. Over time, many people joined them and began to build a village. In the end, the village accommodated 400 families by living on the water. They managed to avoid Thai law, which prohibits foreigners from owning land in Thailand. However, because more and more tourists came to Thailand and made the Kopi village one of their favorite tourist attractions, finally, the Javanese descendants got ownership rights. Land thanks to 3 families of fishermen who found the place and decided to settle there. A village was formed, complete with almost all the facilities that other villages have. The first thing that the people of Kopi built at that time was a fresh water well and a mosque. Now Kopi village has 1 school where children study, and it is part of their daily life. The village is also equipped with a hospital, cemetery, market shops, small museum, restaurant, fish farm, and even a simple hotel. The interesting part of this floating village is that there are 3 floating soccer fields. The fields were built after the 1986 World Cup, and made of wood, the people of Kopi try to work together to create space for recreation and games. Thus creating a geographically challenging football pitch in that location. Although in the past some of the village's inhabitants lived from fishing, and today fishing tourism Indonesian, is also a growing source of income. Unfortunately, only the older generation in Kapi village still speak Indonesian, while the younger generation has switched to using Thai. Expanding the village's territory is no longer possible. So for future generations, they must seek shelter on land village life. The village has a Muslim school, which is attended by both girls and boys in the mornings, due to the informal nature of this education. Many boys attend school further away in the fields at Panga or at Phuket immigration. Further from the village is encouraged as the size of the settlement is limited by dangerous water conditions in the rainy season. A mosque based on an island adjacent to the settlement serves the predominantly Muslim population and is a focal point and meeting place for the community. A market filled with goods from the mainland sells basic amenities such as medicines, clothing, and toiletries. Despite the increase in tourism, life in Kapi is still primarily based on the fishing industry, as tourists only visit in significant numbers. During the dry season, the Islamic background in Thailand is often found in several provinces in the southern region of this white elephant country, including Patani Province, 80% Yala, 68.9%, Narathiwat Satun, 67.8%, and Indonesian Sanla. All of these provinces were previously part of the Patani Ria Kingdom in the 12th century before the Sukhothai Kingdom was established, even though Thailand is known as a Buddhist country. Now, the kingdom is quite supportive of Islamic life for its residents. Responsibility for matters related to Islam in Thailand is carried out by a Muti, who holds the title of Shul Islam. Chula Raj Monre. Mufi is under the Ministry of Home Affairs and also the Ministry of Education, and is responsible to the king. Mufi is responsible for regulating policies related to Muslim life, such as determining the beginning and end of the lunar month. The number of Muslims in Thailand reached 4.6%, with the latest statistics of around 4 million out of a total population of 65 million, but Islam is the second majority religion after Buddhism. Theories of the entry of Islam in Thailand. 1. The Arab and Persian theory of Islam was introduced by the Arabs in the 10th century through trade routes. In addition, Easterners married local residents in Thailand. The Islamic part of Patani became stronger with the arrival of King Fataka in 1500 meters. 2. The Gujarat theory of Islam is also Indonesian, introduced by the Gujarati people in the 13th century through trade routes in the region. Patani because the Patani area is a sea trade route, so they stop at the Patani Kingdom port as well as the Cambodian Chinese. And other people also pass through the Bangkok port crossing route, now 3 Hai. Theory of the arrival of the Malay tribe through the trade sector, brought by the Samudra Pasai people in the 13th century and preaching about Islam to the local community. 4. Malay theory of Islam entering through the trade sector, marriage and education at the end of the 19th century. Then the Thai kingdom built the largest Dawah center in Bangkok province, Raming Islamic Center in written history. That Thailand is a stopover for the spreaders of Islam to the archipelago, both coming from the Middle East and through India. The southern Thailand region is a very important region in the history of Islam. In the land of the white elephant, Islam in Thailand has experienced rapid development. Islam is the largest minority religion there, surpassing other minority religions. Southern Thailand, with its capital Patani, is inhabited by ethnic Malay Muslims in southern Thailand. There are often conflicts with Buddhist religious groups because geographically southern Thailand remains part of the country of Thailand, but the majority of the Muslim community lives in this region. It is often said that Kinasar has a central government policy that is considered unfair to the people of southern Thailand, who are predominantly Muslim. Responsibility for Islamic religious affairs in Thailand is held by a Mufi, who holds the title of Shah Islam Chaj Montre. This Mufi falls under the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Ministry of Education and reports to the king. The Mufi is responsible for regulating policies related to Muslim life, such as determining the beginning and end of the Hijri months. Friends of the Islamic faith, the presence of Muslims in Thailand is not limited to villages or border areas. In the capital Bangkok and other major urban centers such as Chiang Mai, Phuket, and Hat Yai, Muslims are a visible, active, and vital part of city life. In Bangkok alone, there are nearly 200 mosques scattered throughout this sprawling metropolis. Some are centuries old, built during the Ayutthaya and early Ratanakosin periods when Muslim merchants and artisans were invited to settle in the capital. Others are newer mosques serving modern neighborhoods where Muslim families have migrated for work, education, and opportunities. These mosques are more than just places of prayer. They are community anchors, hosting Quranic recitations, social events, and charitable programs for the poor. Urban Muslims in Thailand are incredibly diverse. In Bangkok, you'll find Malay Muslims who trace their roots to the south, Cham Muslims, descendants of refugees from Cambodia and Vietnam who fled war and persecution, South Asian Muslims whose ancestors came from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh as traders and laborers, and even smaller communities with roots in the Middle East. This mix of ethnicities has produced an urban Islam that looks and feels different from the more homogeneous Malay Islam of the southern provinces. Urban Islam is more cosmopolitan, more flexible, and more woven into the multicultural fabric of the city. Economically, Muslims in Thailand's cities are known for their dynamism. Many operate halal restaurants, food stalls, and catering businesses, contributing to Bangkok's reputation as a global food capital. Halal food isn't just for Muslims. Thais of all backgrounds often choose halal restaurants for its quality and affordability. In fact, the halal industry in Bangkok has become so important that the government actively promotes it as part of Thailand's international branding. Beyond food, Muslims are also active in the garment trade, small-scale entrepreneurship, and education, running private Islamic schools that attract both Muslim and non-Muslim students. Socially, Muslim life in cities is characterized by adaptation and coexistence. Unlike in the South, where Islamic identity is closely tied to ethnicity and regional politics, urban Muslims often live side by side with Buddhist neighbors, sharing markets, schools, and workplaces. Interfaith interaction is a part of daily life. During Ramadan, it is not uncommon for Buddhist and Christian neighbors to join their Muslim friends for iftar, breaking the fast. Similarly, Muslims participate in national festivals like Shurran, while maintaining their own religious celebrations like Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. This urban Islam is in many ways more fluid and modern. Young Muslims in Bangkok navigate multiple identities simultaneously, being Thai, being Muslim, being urban, and being part of a global generation. They are active on social media, engaged in higher education, and increasingly active in professional fields like medicine, law, and technology. For many of them, Islam is not a marker of separation, but rather a framework for ethical living in a rapidly changing society. At the same time, challenges remain. Muslims in large cities remain a small minority and are sometimes subject to misunderstandings or stereotypes. However, compared to the South, where issues of identity are more politically charged, urban Muslims often experience smoother integration. They embody what might be called Thai Islam, deeply rooted in faith, yet open, adaptable, and attuned to the rhythms of a predominantly Buddhist society. By 2025, the Muslim presence in Bangkok and other cities will continue to grow, not only in numbers, but in visibility and influence. From the bustling halal market near Harun Mosque on the banks of the Chafraya River to modern Islamic centers welcoming international visitors, urban Islam in Thailand offers a vivid example of how religion can thrive in a multicultural metropolis. Urban Islam offers a stark contrast to the rural South, less defined by ethnic heritage and more shaped by global diversity and modernity. Thailand's southern provinces of Pattani, Yala, Narathiwat, and parts of Satun are often described as the cultural heartland of Thai Islam. Here, Malay identity, Islamic faith, and local traditions have blended for centuries, creating communities distinct from the country's predominantly Buddhist heartland. However, the region is also known for something else. Decades of conflict have left scars that continue to shape life today. To understand the present, we must first look back. The roots of these tensions run deep in history, dating back to when the Pattani Sultanate thrived as a powerful Malay Muslim kingdom. For centuries, Pattani maintained its autonomy, thriving as a center of trade, scholarship, and Islamic learning. However, in the early 20th century, as Shia Muslims consolidated power and modern Thailand was formed, the southern region was gradually absorbed into the country. Local Islamic languages, traditions, and education often clashed with centralized policies aimed at uniting the nation under a Thai identity and Buddhism. Many Malay Muslims felt marginalized. Their culture and religion were pressured to conform. However, a modern insurgency began in the early 2000s. Separatist groups emerged, demanding greater autonomy or full independence for the southern region. Violence escalated dramatically in 2004, marking one of the bloodiest chapters in Thailand's contemporary history. The Tak Bai incident of October 2004 remains a painful memory. Following a protest in Nathiwat, security forces detained hundreds of people. In the ensuing chaos, at least 78 detainees suffocated after being piled onto military trucks. For the Muslim community in the south, Tak Bai became a symbol of injustice, fueling anger and distrust of the central government. 2 decades later, in 2024, a surprising gesture came from an unexpected figure. Former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, whose government was in power during the Takai tragedy, issued a public apology. Standing before cameras, he acknowledged the pain caused by the state's actions and apologized. While many viewed it as a token gesture for survivors and victims' families, this was a long-awaited step. It signaled an acknowledgement, albeit belated, that past wounds could not be ignored if reconciliation were to occur. At the same time, political negotiations entered a new phase. With Malaysia acting as mediator, the Thai government and separatist representatives agreed on a roadmap to peace by 2024. The plan included commitments to reduce violence, explore political solutions, and prioritize development in the southern provinces. However, the path forward remained fragile. Fractured rebel groups, intercommunal mistrust, and uneven implementation had slowed progress. Many feared that promises would remain on paper, while daily life continued to be overshadowed by military checkpoints, sporadic attacks, and economic hardship. But beyond politics and armed movements, there are ordinary people who bear the heaviest burden. Mothers who have lost sons, children growing up in fear, farmers struggling to cultivate their land in conflict zones. These are the human faces of southern Thailand's story, and despite the hardships they face, what emerges most clearly is not anger, but hope. Local people demand 3 things: better education, real security, and equitable economic development. Parents want schools where their children can learn Islamic values and modern skills without having to choose between faith and opportunity. Young people dream of jobs that keep them in their villages rather than forcing them to migrate north or abroad. Villagers want security, not just a military presence, the freedom to live without fear of bombs or attacks. In recent years, new projects have begun to take root. Islamic schools are being modernized, small businesses are supported through microfinance, and women's cooperatives are gaining recognition for their role in peace building. Universities in the South are partnering with international institutions, offering programs that combine local identity with global knowledge. And through it all, the resilience of the people remains unwavering. Yet the challenges remain formidable. Poverty rates in the southern border provinces are among the highest in Thailand. Investment often bypasses the region due to security risks, while youth unemployment remains high. These conditions create fertile ground for disillusionment, fueling a cycle of frustration exploited by insurgent groups. The situation in the South reveals a deeper truth about Thailand, that religion, politics, and identity are inseparable. For Malay Muslims in Patani and neighboring provinces, being Thai has never meant abandoning their Islamic or Malay heritage. The persistent question is whether the Thai state can truly embrace this diversity, not as a threat, but as part of the nation's strength. In this respect, southern Thailand is more than just a conflict zone. Southern Thailand is a mirror reflecting the struggles of multicultural societies around the world. How to balance unity with diversity, national identity with local traditions, and security with justice? In 2025, the future remains uncertain. The roadmap to peace is fragile, but it exists. Apologies have been made, but healing requires more than words. And for the people of the South, the path forward will not be measured by political agreements signed in Bangkok or Kuala Lumpur, but by whether children can attend school safely, whether families can live without fear, and whether Muslims and Buddhists can once again view each other as neighbors, not adversaries. In recent years, Thailand has begun to recognize that Islam is not only part of its social fabric, but also a key asset in shaping the nation's economic future. Far from simply viewing Islam as a minority religion, policymakers have incorporated it into the country's long-term development strategy. The halal economy, once a niche market, is now a national priority, positioned as a driver of growth and a bridge to the wider Muslim world. The National Halal Development Plan, 2024 to 2027, sets an ambitious goal to transform Thailand into a leading hub for halal products and services in Southeast Asia. This plan covers a wide range of industries: food and beverage, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, fashion, logistics, and tourism. Each sector reflects the growing global demand for halal-certified products, a market expected to reach trillions of dollars by the end of the decade. For Thailand, this is not just about serving local Muslims, who represent approximately 5 to 7% of the population, but also about reaching consumers across ASEAN, the Middle East, and beyond. Food is at the heart of this strategy. Thailand is already one of the world's largest food exporters, known for its seafood, rice, and processed products. By strengthening halal certification and promoting transparency in production, Thailand aims to become a trusted supplier to Muslim-majority countries. The Central Islamic Council of Thailand has taken a leading role in issuing halal certification, ensuring that Thai products meet religious and international standards. For Thai farmers and entrepreneurs, this represents an opportunity to enter a vast new market. But halal is more than just food. In recent years, halal cosmetics and pharmaceuticals have gained momentum. Thailand, with its robust biotechnology and wellness industries, is now investing in halal-certified skincare, supplements, and pharmaceuticals. Fashion, too, has been in the spotlight. Thai designers are exploring Muslim fashion collections that blend traditional Muslim styles with contemporary aesthetics, aiming to appeal to young Muslim consumers at home and abroad. However, perhaps the most visible transformation is in tourism. Thailand has long been a top global tourist destination, attracting millions with its beaches, culture, and cuisine. However, the government is increasingly tailoring its tourism sector to Muslim visitors. In 2024 alone, Thailand is expected to welcome approximately 3 million Muslim tourists, the majority from Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Middle East. What is notable is not only the number, but also the quality of their visits. Muslim tourists tend to stay longer, averaging 13 days, and spend more per trip than other tourist groups. This makes them a valuable segment in Thailand's post-pandemic recovery strategy. To serve this market, Thailand has expanded its halal-friendly services. Hotels and resorts now offer halal-certified kitchens, prayer rooms, and gender-friendly facilities. Airports now offer more spacious prayer rooms, and airlines are promoting Muslim-friendly food options. Perhaps the most innovative step is the launch of the Halal Routes mobile app. This digital tool helps Muslim travelers find nearby mosques, halal restaurants, prayer times, and even the direction of the Qibla. For many visitors, this app has transformed Thailand from a challenging destination into a welcoming one. Recognition is also coming. According to the 2024 Global Muslim Travel Index, Thailand is ranked 32nd in the world as a Muslim-friendly destination, making it one of the top non-Muslim majority countries in Asia, attracting this growing market. Officials have set even higher goals, with plans to break into the top 20 by 2027. However, beyond the numbers, the halal economy carries a deeper message. Islam is not a burden on national development, but rather an opportunity. By embracing the halal industry and Muslim-friendly tourism, Thailand is not only generating revenue, but also changing perceptions. Islam, once viewed solely through the lens of conflict in the South, is increasingly seen as a positive contributor to innovation, trade, and cultural exchange. In Bangkok, Muslim entrepreneurs run thriving halal restaurants and food businesses, attracting both Muslim and Buddhist customers. In Chiang Mai, halal-certified fitness centers attract visitors from the Middle East. In Phuket and Krabi, luxury resorts promote themselves as Muslim-friendly without losing their international appeal. These examples demonstrate how the halal economy is not dividing communities, but rather creating a space where Muslims and non-Muslims mutually benefit. As Thailand moves toward its 2027 target of becoming the halal hub of ASEAN, the stakes are high. Success means not only billions of dollars in economic benefits, but also greater integration of Thailand into the global Muslim market. More importantly, this would mark a cultural shift, recognizing that Islam is not a marginal identity, but rather a partner in building Thailand's future. In Thailand, Buddhism continues to shape the nation's cultural landscape, with over 90% of the population identifying with it. However, within this predominantly Buddhist society, there are individuals who have chosen a different spiritual path, embracing Islam. Conversions are not widespread, but they are meaningful, often rooted in deeply personal journeys, reflecting the complex interplay of love, identity, and faith. One of the most common pathways to Islam in Thailand is through interfaith marriage. Many Thai Buddhists who marry into Muslim families decide to convert both out of love and as a way to build unity within their households. This is especially evident in mixed communities where Muslims and Buddhists live side by side. Conversion in these cases is not about abandoning one tradition, but rather about weaving two lives together toward a shared future. These marriages, often celebrated quietly within families, represent how Islam can enter the hearts of Thais through everyday human relationships. However, there are also those who come to Islam through personal spiritual exploration, driven by the discipline of prayer, the clarity of monotheism, or the sense of community inherent in Muslim life. A growing number of Thais are choosing Islam after reflecting on their own beliefs. For some, this journey begins with a friendship with a Muslim neighbor, colleague, or classmate who introduced them to the religion's practices. For others, it begins with questions about the meaning of life that, in their personal experience, Buddhism cannot fully answer. These conversions are less common, but often more visible because they bring with them stories of transformation and self-discovery. Among the most famous examples in recent years is Rod Tang Jitmuang Non, the renowned Muay Thai world champion. Known for his explosive fighting style and fierce performances in the ring, Rod Tang made headlines not for his victories, but for his personal decision to convert to Islam in 2023 after marrying a Muslim woman. His conversion sparked conversations across Thailand, reminding many that Islam is not distant or foreign, but rather present in the lives of admired individuals across the country. For fans, this is a powerful image. A fighter who embodies Thai tradition, stepping into a new chapter in his faith, demonstrates that religion, like sport, is part of the human journey. In Thailand, Buddhism continues to shape the nation's cultural landscape, with over 90% of the population identifying with it. However, within this predominantly Buddhist society, some individuals choose a different spiritual path, embracing Islam. Conversions are not widespread, but they are meaningful, often rooted in a profound personal journey that reflects the complex interplay of love, identity, and faith. One of the most common pathways to Islam in Thailand is through interfaith marriage. Many Thai Buddhists who marry into Muslim families decide to convert both out of love and as a way to build unity within their households. This is especially evident in mixed communities where Muslims and Buddhists live side by side. Conversion in these cases is not about abandoning one tradition, but rather about uniting two lives toward a shared future. These marriages, often celebrated quietly within families, represent how Islam can penetrate the heart of Thai society through everyday human relationships. However, there are also those who arrive at Islam through personal, spiritual exploration, compelled by the discipline of prayer, the clarity of monotheism, or the sense of community inherent in Muslim life. A small but consistent number choose Islam after reflecting on their own beliefs. For some, the journey begins with a friendship with a Muslim neighbor, colleague, or classmate who introduces them to the practices of the religion. For others, the journey begins with questions about the meaning of life that Buddhism cannot fully answer in their personal experience. These conversions are less common but often more visible because they carry stories of transformation and inner searching. Among the most famous examples in recent years is Rod Tang Jitmuang Non, a renowned Muay Thai world champion. Known for his explosive fighting style and powerful ring presence, Rod Tang made headlines not for his victories, but for his personal decision to convert to Islam in 2023 after marrying a Muslim woman. His conversion sparked conversation across Thailand, reminding many that Islam is not distant or foreign, but present in the lives of admired individuals across the country. For fans, it was a powerful image. A fighter who embodied Thai tradition, stepping into a new chapter in his faith, demonstrating that religion, like sport, is part of the human journey. Rod Tang's story is just one of many, but it highlights the broader truth that conversion to Islam in Thailand often occurs quietly, woven into the rhythms of everyday life. These stories are not mass movements, nor are they political statements. Rather, they are the stories of individuals, teachers, shopkeepers, students, athletes, who decided to pursue a new path. These stories, though few, add another layer to the portrait of Islam in Thailand. They challenge the stereotype that views Islam solely through the lens of the conflict in the South. These stories demonstrate that Islam can also be about choice, inspiration, and the intimate spaces of family and personal growth. For the Muslim community, converts bring new energy and perspectives, reinforcing the sense that Islam is not just a heritage, but also a choice. Rod Tang's story is just one of many, but it highlights the broader truth that conversion to Islam in Thailand often unfolds quietly, woven into the rhythms of everyday life. These stories are not mass movements, nor are they political statements. Rather, they are the stories of individuals, teachers, shopkeepers, students, and athletes who decided to pursue a new path. These stories, though few in number, add another layer to the portrait of Islam in Thailand. These stories challenge stereotypes that view Islam solely through the lens of the conflict in the South. They demonstrate that Islam can also be about choice, inspiration, and the intimate spaces of family and personal growth. For the Muslim community, converts bring new energy and perspectives, reinforcing the sense that Islam is not just a heritage, but also a choice. Islam in Thailand is not just a matter of faith and culture. It is also deeply intertwined with human rights issues. For many Muslims, living in Thailand means navigating a constant tension between religious identity, national politics, and universal demands for dignity and equality. This tension often surfaces in highly publicized events that reach far beyond Thailand's borders. In early 2025, Thailand became the center of international criticism when it was revealed that the government had deported 40 men back to China. Human rights groups quickly condemned the action, warning that the men could face imprisonment, forced labor, or worse upon their return. Critics argued that the deportations violated the principle of non-refoulement, the principle that no one should be returned to a country where they risk persecution. The United Nations, along with Muslim-majority countries, has voiced concern, urging Bangkok to reconsider its handling of asylum seekers. The Thai government has defended its actions, citing immigration laws and bilateral agreements. However, the controversy highlights the delicate balance Thailand is trying to maintain, allying with powerful neighbors like China while maintaining its image as a modern, human rights-respecting nation. For Thai Muslims themselves, the incident serves as a reminder that their struggle for recognition lies within the broader global context of how Muslim minorities are treated. Domestically, the human rights debate has become more local in character. In the southern provinces, Muslim communities have long demanded greater cultural recognition. One of the most persistent calls is for bilingual education, a program that allows students to study in both Thai and Malay, their mother tongue. For many Malay Muslims, language is more than just communication. It is central to their identity. However, the national education system often prioritizes teaching only Thai, framing bilingualism as a challenge to unity, rather than a resource. Although pilot bilingual programs have been introduced in Patani and Narathiwat, many families argue that these efforts remain limited, underfunded, and symbolic. The issue is not just about education. It is about whether the Thai state is willing to recognize that its citizens can be both fully Thai and fully Malay Muslims at the same time. Beyond education, Muslims continue to voice concerns about equal treatment under the law. Security operations in the South, justified in the name of counterinsurgency, have often drawn criticism from human rights groups. Emergency decrees allow for broad powers of arrest and detention, fueling feelings of discrimination and mistrust. Reports of arbitrary detention, enforced disappearances, and harsh military tactics have left wounds that are difficult to heal. Even when the violence subsides, the memories remain. Fathers who never return home, sons accused without trial, and communities caught between the threat of insurgents and the suspicion of the state. The Tokpai tragedy of 2004 remains the most painful. More than 2 decades later, it continues to symbolize the fragile relationship between the Thai state and its Muslim citizens. Although former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra issued a public apology in 2024, survivors and victims' families argue that words alone are not enough. They demand accountability, reparations, and a public remembrance. For many in the South, Tokpai is not history. It is a living memory, a trauma passed down through generations, shaping how young Muslims view the country and their place within it. Healing requires more than an apology. It requires trust, justice, and creating a space where people feel heard. These human rights issues expose a broader paradox about being Muslim in Thailand. On the one hand, Islam is increasingly recognized as an asset in the economic and tourism sectors, with halal products and Muslim-friendly services promoted as symbols of inclusion. On the other, Muslims still face structural challenges in terms of identity, equality, and justice. It is a tug-of-war between recognition and marginalization, between opportunity and exclusion. For Thailand as a nation, the stakes are high. A society aspiring to be a global leader, whether as a halal hub, a tourism hub, or a regional mediator, cannot afford to neglect its own citizens. For Muslims, the path forward is equally complex. They are fighting not only for better schools or safer neighborhoods, but also for the right to live fully as themselves. Thai, Malay, Muslim, and equal. The future of Islam in Thailand rests on a delicate balance between state policy, societal resilience, and a willingness to embrace pluralism. On the one hand, the Thai government has demonstrated a growing commitment to integrating Islam into the national development strategy. The 2024 to 2027 Halal Industry Roadmap is not simply an economic blueprint, but also a recognition that Muslim identity can be an asset rather than a liability. Simultaneously, new initiatives to stabilize the southern provinces through dialogue and cultural inclusion signal that peace remains a national priority. At the grassroots level, Muslim communities are actively shaping their own destiny. Local leaders and families are investing in education, modernizing traditional schools in Pondak by integrating religious curricula with science, technology, and foreign languages. Science, technology, and foreign languages. This evolution is creating a new generation of Thai Muslims rooted in their faith and fully capable of contributing to the global economy. Many of these young people are also engaging in interfaith dialogue, building bridges with Buddhist and Christian neighbors, and countering narratives of division with stories of cooperation. The economy continues to offer strong opportunities. Halal tourism, creative industries, and startups are increasingly positioning Islam not as an isolated minority identity, but as a vibrant part of Thailand's national image. For example, young entrepreneurs in Bangkok and Chiang Mai are blending Islamic art with contemporary design, exporting unique Thai Muslim creativity to the global market.